And according to reports, former Speaker Obasa has been engulfed in a series of controversies to include alleged financial dealings, the petrol lateness to legislative sessions and meetings, high-handedness and incitement of members against each other. Now, the House is in the saddle of Mudashiru Miranda, the new Speaker and first female Speaker of the State of Excellence. What does this mean to the politics of Lagos, the APC, and indeed Nigeria? Joining me now to look at the issues and other matters are Honorable Segun Olulade, former member, Lagos State House of Assembly, and Tony Daniel, a lawyer and public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, good evening to you and welcome to Politics Tonight.
Good evening. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening to you, Mr. Daniel. Honorable Olulade, let me start with you because I can only guess that since this news filtered in, you must have been receiving calls from your friends who are still in the House. They must have started calling you to give you some background information. Talk to us tonight. What's the atmosphere like in the House of Assembly?
First of all, let me use this opportunity to congratulate Lagos. That some of them are being considered to be a PA to the former speaker and not an honorable member. So it's a great surprise to some of us that they will take this bold step and take a decision as a house. Because when the house speaks, it's Lagosians that are spoken. And some of us who are privy to what is going on in the house are not... I would say I was surprised that the members will take up the challenge of taking up this decision. But at the same time, I'm not surprised that it has come to be.
So why are you not surprised, Honorable?
Well, all the players today within the House are all my former colleagues. And I also, being a politician myself and being rooted in the legislative arrangement, I understand that this will surely come one day in view of all the allegations that they put forward. Some of them I have privy to, some I am not. But sincerely speaking, I'm not surprised. And talking to a lot of the other current members of the House, I am aware that there is a lot of undercurrents going on within the House. In the last, it's not even this session alone. I think even in the night assembly, we have seen them having such undercurrents. So for me, I think it is important that as a politician, you will know that something like this will surely come one day. The former speaker have done his bit as a speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. He happened to be the second longest serving speaker in Lagos State as it is today, because the former speaker of Lagos State, Right Honorable Adeyemi Ikufoiji, has spent 10 years, and we also know that he also has spent about 9 years plus, and I think he has done his bit, has made meaningful contributions, and he has done his bit, and I think it is time for him to move on. As members of the House have collectively come up to say they don't want him again to lead them.
All right, Honorable. I mean, it's interesting to hear you talk about players in Lagos politics, because what we heard was it was impeached amid allegations of corruption and financial mismanagement against the speaker. So what exactly was his offense? I mean, when you hear politicians talk about abuse of office, and when Nigerian politicians accuse their counterparts of court abuse of office, it means a lot.
It means a lot. And one thing we must get clear is the fact that these members are not young people. They are also mature people. They are adults. They have constituents that they are also leading as a whole, and they had our representative in their respective constituencies. So when they say that there's an abuse of office, they know what they are talking about, and nobody can take that away from them. So for me, they know better than we outside could say one or two about what is going on there. But like I said, the former speaker used to speak behind me, sit behind me at the State House of Assembly before he became speaker. And when he became speaker, though some of us have reservation then, but at the end of the day, we all come together to say, this is our house. And we supported him, we stood by him, and we worked together for the benefit of Lagosian. So if today, these same members that have been in support just a few months ago, they all sat down and said they passed a vote of confidence on him. And so if they have done that and all of a sudden things have changed, then you should understand that there are so many things that are going on underground that might not be known yet, but I believe as time goes on, a lot of revelations will come up.
Absolutely. Now, talking about what must have changed, Mr. Daniel, let me come to you. Thank you once again for joining us tonight. Obasa has been the speaker for 3 terms consecutively, and according to what we heard, the decision was unanimous. What changed this time?
Well, the fact that the decision was unanimous makes it constitutionally legal, but the allegations are still shrouded in some kind of secrecy. They use vague, generic description for the allegation, like abuse of office. There must be specific action that constitutes an abuse of office. Then, allegation of corruption. I also read, like most Nigerians, of the coalition that accused the speaker of utilizing, how many billions to construct just one gate? Like Obasa said, I'm not making case for him. That is actually ridiculous and most unrealistic. This is politics. I'm aware that he has given hint that he might be participating in the next coming gubernatorial election. Every person knows that that's an open secret. So this thing is politically based. However, I also noted that he's been representing Agege constituency for so long. Is it that there's no other person there that is qualified? I also heard that during plenary, when he was impeached, there were attempts by miscreants to invade the house, but the police were alert enough to apprehend them. So this speaks about the kind of person, with due respect, that the former speaker is. I want to also congratulate Lagosian. For now, this action will be presumed correct until probably the ex-speaker, so to say, goes to court to challenge his impeachment. I don't have anything with which I can say to some extent if that action will succeed legally or not. But since the Constitution under Section 92 states that it can be removed when he resigns, it can be removed when the House is dissolved, and it can also be removed when to that majority. We gathered reliably that about 90% of the members of the State House of Assembly voted unanimously for its removal. If that is correct, it's presumed valid and legal. But they didn't tell us more. Allegation of misappropriation of funds, didn't give us specific details. Abuse of office, no specific details. So the only thing, to the best of my knowledge, that is legal, that we can hold on to, is that more than 2/3 majority voted for the impeachment of the former speaker. That's the much I can say now. I
right.
congratulate Lagos State for having the first female speaker of our own House of Assembly.
All right, Mr. Daniel, I mean, just like Honorable had said, more revelations will be out in the coming days. But to add to all you said, APC members say Obasa really disrespected the sitting governor in the person of Babajide Sanwo-Olu during budget presentation and even hinted at becoming the next governor and thought he could run away with it. Now, my question to you is, what was wrong with him being ambitious? Was it about that ambition or how he went about it?
Well, the State House of Assembly in Lagos and the executive is a shining example of how the two different arms of government have continually cooperated on issues that impact positively on the development of Lagos State. So I know that, I didn't want to say this before, that there's no way this wouldn't have been discussed first with the governor. Take note that Obasa himself is not around. He was not present. So it was well calculated, because I'm very sure that if he was personally on ground, to some extent, he would have been able to fight this. He was not around. The two arms are supposed to be separated, but they have been working together. I don't know, I don't have the facts as to the action of Obasa that amounted to a disrespect to the current governor, but I know they have been working together. So, well, we don't want to give a dog a bad name because we want to hang it. That's what it looks like here. But like my colleague there, the Honorable said, let's wait. More facts will unfold. But for now, the only fact as a lawyer that I can say is valid, is legal, is that majority, more than 2/3, the Constitution requires 2/3, voted for the impeachment of the Speaker.
All right, Honorable, let me come to you, and I'm sure you're not hearing that for the first time. The same question goes to you. What was wrong with him being ambitious? Was it about that ambition or how he went about it? Honorable Lulade.
There is nothing wrong of him being ambitious. And there has never been any issue concerning that. He has the right as a Lagosian to contest for the post of governorship. And he is not the first speaker to have done that. Right Honorable Ikufuriji was also contesting then to be the governor of Lagos State. And he wasn't impeached. So it's not because he was contesting. I think it's more of the members of the House. Everything, and the leadership of the party. We have allegations of him. I mean, we saw what happened during the budget presentation of Mr. Governor in last year in 2024 for 2025 budget. We all saw what happened, and that's why I said I was a bit surprised that these members will still come up and say they are impeaching him, because all of them were wearing dark shades. And they were the level of disrespect that was not only to the governor, but also the GAC members of our great party is something that we consider not acceptable as a party. And so I was surprised that they now come up today to say they want to change guard. And but I'm happy that the new speaker, who happened to be a very, very diligent, intelligent, and a woman of substance, very humble, very has a listening ear, and I think the members have carefully choosing Honorable Miranda, Right Honorable Miranda, the current speaker, to succeed the former speaker.
But you also talked about the former speaker taking a shot at GAC members, because there are allegations that the governor nominated 70% of commissioners from one local government, leaving some local government areas who worked tirelessly for his election, and the speaker was not happy with that. Also, a few weeks ago, Obasa made a statement, which I'd like to read out. He says, "I'm not too young or lack experience to run for Lagos governorship position. those who have governed are not better than me. So, I mean, he meant Akimi Ambode, Mr. President, who was former governor, Babatunde Fashola, were not better than him. Did you think that statement contributed to his impeachment?
Well, some of the members can find that very, very offensive, and they might be aggrieved by that singular statement, because even some of us who are not members of the House now, who are former members, were not also happy with that kind of a statement. Nobody is stopping anybody from contesting. Like I said, Ikufuiji contested for governorship in this same state, and nothing happens. Nobody impeached him. He was allowed to even participate at the primary. So he had the right to contest. It's not the issue. I don't think that's an issue that will make the people, I mean, the lawmakers in the state to want to go against him. But there are some statements, there are some actions of his that might not be too, that might not settle down well with the members of the House. So actions are taken. I think we should just take it as such. We should stop having this notion that is because of being ambitious, or I mean, he's qualified to be the governor of Lagos State, so no doubt about that. But in doing so, you also need to carry everybody along. You need to embrace everybody. And I think maybe he was going about it wrongly. I don't know. But also, I think the members of Lagos State House of Assembly have spoken, and we need to agree with them in their position. But my lawyer was saying that if this is valid or not, once the Constitution accept the issue of gross misconduct, that anybody that you can be impeached based on gross misconduct. So they have the right to, and they have also told us that the former speaker always come to the plenary late, which was also exhibited during the budget presentation, where leaders of our party, the GAC members, and also the governor, was waiting for the speaker for 4 good hours. I don't think that is right. I think there are so many issues that the members must have looked into and take that decision. And I think we should just accept their decision and move on. But like the lawyer have said, if he chooses to go to the court, he's free. But I am very, very sure that the impeachment was done with all members of the House. All they need to impeach him is just about 24 members or so. So if today they are having over 24 or over 22 members of the House saying they don't want him again, I think that stand, even if he doesn't do anything, if there's nothing, because they choose him. We are not the one that appointed the speaker. It's the members of the same House that come together to say we want him to be our leader. So the moment they say they are not going to accept him any longer as their leader, they have that right, and that right must be.
All right, Honorable Lunade, I'll come back to you shortly, and perhaps we'll talk about why it was so hard for GAC members to resolve this discord between himself and Mr. Governor. Let me come to you, Mr. Daniel. From the legal perspective, his impeachment came with the dissolution of all the principal positions and standing committees. Why should Obasa's exit affect their continued existence in the House?
Thank you very much. This issue of impeachment, I hope you are hearing me.
I can. Please go ahead.
Good. You look at the political angle and the legal angle. The political angle, based on recent happening, the conduct of the former speaker and the utterances of the former speaker, he can politically justify his impeachment. He ought to have seen it coming, keeping the governor waiting, That is one. Two, multiple allegations of fraudulent diversion of public funds. Then regular appearances at the plenary for official activities. So politically, I don't think he would have even won the primaries, because invariably he has insulted not just the governor, even the current president.
Mr. Daniel, are you there?
Persons.
Okay.
So I think political, sorry?
Please go ahead.
Yes, politically.
Mr. Daniel,
I think too that, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Network?
Please go ahead.
Yes, legally, I also think it is justified too. The most important part, misconduct, some sketchy details were given, withdrawal of 43.5 billion.
A business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brand, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of your view are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective. Covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Adibola.
Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Thank you very much for staying with us. My guests tonight are Tony Daniel, lawyer, public affairs analyst, and Honorable Lulade, former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Tonight we're focused on the latest development coming out of Lagos as Lagos gets new speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, impeached. Mr. Daniel, let me stay with you because the former speaker was accused of spending 17 billion naira on a gate to the Assembly complex, which critics argue is excessive and fraudulent. And there's also been allegations of mishandling constituency funds and projects. Now, don't you think this should have been investigated before his impeachment?
Well, you are correct. There are supposed to be a panel of inquiry within the House, or the EFCC or any other security agency ought to have investigated. I'm aware the EFCC invited him because that allegation was so loud on the media that they have to invite him. We don't know if anything came out of that invitation. So like I said, I don't want to be unnecessarily preemptive or make a prejudicial legal statement. But Obasa has a right to challenge this if he wants to. He might have challenges, and I've pointed out those areas he might have challenges. The court will not look at political inclinations, but I've spoken as a political analyst that politically he talked himself into a bad corner, a very tight corner. And then somebody that is not that guided when making political statements, it would be difficult for him to even win the primaries. It would have been difficult. He has a right to contest, no doubt about that. But it would have been difficult politically. Now, politically, I have justified the impeachment. You can't start, insulting those that brought you to power because you feel you don't have enough power. They will take you out of the power. And that is exactly what has happened. Like the honorable member, my co-guest on this program said, Not too long ago, the same members of this same House of Assembly voted and passed a vote of confidence on the ex-speaker. But change is permanent. It will continue to come, whether wrong or right. But I cannot tell you with precision, and that's why I'm running away from it, if Obasa will succeed or not. When Philip Shaibu was impeached on your program on TVT, I stated categorically that the impeachment would be set aside. And it was actually set aside by the court. This one, I cannot say.
All right, Mr. Daniel, perhaps I need to stay with you because, you know, Governor Sanwo-Olu and Obasa have been in the news for over a year now. First, we heard about the refusal of the House to clear 17 of the 39 commissioner nominees recommended by the governor. 6 former commissioners who served in the cabinet of the governor during his first term were among those not cleared by the assembly. Why was it hard for the president and members of the GAC to settle this issue? For a fact, we saw reports of several meetings, but this did not yield any positive results. Why was it that hard?
Politically, I'll put the blame on Obasa.
Okay.
Between Obasa's office and the governor's office, which one? Yes, Obasa is the head of the legislature in Lagos State, while the governor is the head of the executive. But then, realistically, which of these offices is higher? Is that of the governor. Now, politically, which of these offices is higher? Who is the political leader of the state? It's the governor. So, it only takes Obasa to come back with due respect on his ego and then make it up with the governor, one way or the other. I am aware of the series of meetings, political meetings held to resolve this issue. It would have been resolved. Humility is the best, particularly when you are still seeking higher offices from the same persons you are insulting. So, like I said, speaking politically, this impeachment is justified. Speaking legally, to some extent, it is also justified. I cannot say categorically if it will be set aside. The most important part of this is that I don't know if these allegations were sent to the speaker and if he was given time to react to them. Impeachment process, if you did not comply to certain basic requirements, it will be sufficient for the court to intervene.
All right. Honorable Lunade, let me come back to you because this is the first time a speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly would be impeached in such manner. Obasa is known to be politically relevant, quote unquote, in his constituency, which is Agege. Are there unforeseen implications this may have on Lagos politics? And I'm asking because, arguably, Lagos had always been a model for modern politics in Nigeria.
First of all, let me correct an impression that the House can set up a panel to investigate the speaker. It is only the speaker that can set up such panel. And when you are the judge over your own case, you know what the case might look like. So that does not even come up. Secondly, the issue of maybe they will need him to face a panel before he can be impeached. I think that is not also obtainable in legislative matters. And when it comes to impeachment in the parliament, it's quite different from impeaching a governor or a deputy governor. If you are impeaching a governor or a deputy governor, you go through that process of saying, okay, you bring your evidences and the panel will be set up. But when it comes to the issue of speakership, it's just the majority of the House, and it's not even the majority, the two-third majority of the House that is needed to sign the impeachment notice and pass a vote of no confidence and impeach the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, or any principal officers of the House. So that is how Parliament is being run. Now, coming to the issue of, and I've also seen a situation where you keep repeating the fact that it's the governor or the speaker that is having issues. They might have their issues, but I don't think that really have anything to do with how the legislative have reacted today. It has to be on the issue that they have presented to the public, which is gross misconduct, misappropriation of funds, alleged misappropriation of funds, and so on and so forth. But when we come to the issue of saying that they need to inform him, in fact, he is not the first speaker to have been impeached in Lagos this way. We have seen the impeachment of the former speaker also, Right Honorable Joko Tolapelumi, who was also impeached in like manner because he was also not around.
So let me come in there, Honorable, because as a former lawmaker, there must have been situations where any of these former governors must have had a rocky relationship with past speakers. Just like you said earlier, there was a time Ekuforedu wanted to be speaker. So how was that managed and nipped in the bud?
Yes, it depends on how you play your game. And I think you must eliminate arrogancy. You must be decent in your approach. You must also respect the constituted authority within the party and even outside the party as a public servant. You must also have that team spirit where you have the ability to bring people together and unite them and talk to them. Have a listening here as a speaker, because you are just nominated or appointed by or elected by the same members of the House that put you there as their leader. And you are not above them, you are even their servants. Because as a speaker, you must be ready to, and that is why some of us were somehow confused with the relationship that is going on within the House in few years back. And let me also say this, that the House rejected the nominees of Mr. Governor. It's not the first time that would have, and that has happened, but also it is their constitutional right to accept or reject. So all that is still in the confine of their legislative duties. So for me, I don't think that will cause any issue. I think that's why I said we must restrict this our discussion. It has nothing to do with the governor or the executive. It is purely, maybe the party might be involved, no doubt, but it is also purely the responsibility of members of the House that should take.
All right, thank you, Honorable. Mr. Daniel, let me come to you, because it's also very important for us not to forget that the key to a successful legislature or legislative-executive rapport is synergy and not warfare. So how can we achieve a legislative-executive relationship without rancor?
Well, like I said before, the Lagos state government, particularly with this current administration, are both the between the presidency or the executive and the legislature, but ultimately it is for the good of the nation. Same thing with Lagos State. So the constitutional procedure, provisions on the removal of the state Speaker of the State House of Assembly is not as elaborate as that of the impeachment of governor or deputy governor. I agree with the Honorable House.
All right.
But you cannot shave them, according to the late Abiola, you cannot shave a man's head in his
All right,
absence.
then. All right, thank you, gentlemen. And just like Honorable has said, this is a new development, and we await more revelations in the coming days. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Tony Daniel, lawyer, public affairs analyst, And Honorable Lulade, former member, Lagos State House of Assembly. Thank you so much for your perspectives tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.